Alright guys, it's been several days, maybe a week or so. I've got a few things sprouting. Not everything is sprouting, but I went ahead and took the cover off. Get out here so you can try to see. So we got the marigolds are sprouting. Some of the sage is starting to come up. I can see the seeds coming through. The basil sprouting. I think that's it right now. The peas are starting to sprout, but I'm going to add a little dirt on top of them because apparently I didn't have them deep enough. And we'll just leave this off until everything else starts to sprout. And so I got a lot of tomatoes finally come up. Audrey tore my cherry tomatoes up. And then I've got some peppers coming up. Peppers seem to take a lot longer than most things. And my sweet potatoes still haven't sprouted. So it's kind of an update. So I'll wait till get a little more of this sprouting, and then give y'all another update. And you don't have to let this be intimidating. Just there's no right or wrong way to do it. I mean, I had some flowers in a sour cream tub, and a lot of this potting soil isn't ideal. It has a little more bark in it than I'd like, but the seeds still sprout. So this is the cheapest I could find at Dollar General, and I did buy this at Lowe's, but a little bit better. I didn't realize that it had so much bark in it, but it's not the end of the world. Another thing I wanted to point out is these are a little bit taller, so there's maybe 3 or 4 inches between this and the light. Ideally, you would want the light about an inch or so above the plant, an inch or two, and that way the plant doesn't get so long and leggy. So I'm gonna put some 4x4s underneath this one to kind of raise it up some. So that got it up a little bit closer. And just be patient, because these peppers that I had planted over here, I mean, it took them, it felt like 2 weeks. And it took them twice as long to sprout as it did everything else. So some of these things, it'll say on the package, you know, how long it takes to germinate. That's under ideal conditions. Sometimes sitting in your bedroom floor is not ideal conditions, so I do have a heater next to them to kind of keep them warm, and I think that helps. So we got our marigolds come up, our sage come up. I can actually see some of the oregano seeds starting to sprout. Thank you for watching. I'll give you an update soon. What's up, guys? I'm just going to give a quick update this morning before I leave to work. So here we have our tomatillos, however you say it, but you can see they're coming up real well. This one had several come up. Sometimes you'll have a little seed that'll be stuck to the leaf. And I just kind of be careful, try to pinch it off just to help it out. And then, see, like here's one, it's got a little seed on it. These are my eggplants. They took a little bit longer to come up. The tomatoes took longer to come up. The basil come up pretty easy. The peppers, I have this is the hot pepper, and then the bell pepper still hasn't sprouted, but they take the longest. I have to go back and look and see how long when it was I planted them. I should have put a date on here, but I didn't. This is cilantro. And so this is hot peppers, this is basil, this is cilantro, had pretty good germination. And then you have, the reason why you move the plants close to the light, because you can see how long these are. It's what they call getting leggy. It means the plant gets taller than what it should be. And you can see it in these tomatillos too, how much taller they are than these other ones for some reason. And so then you got my marigolds. Oh yeah, this is oregano and the purple sage. Marigolds didn't do very well. I got 2 plants out of those. Bell peppers haven't come up, and the watermelon seeds haven't come up. And then these are my peas. And so these are probably getting ready. I could probably transplant these bigger ones after I water them a couple times, because they've probably got a pretty good root system on them. So what I'm gonna do now is just while I get ready for work, I'm gonna fill up this tray with water and let everything water from the bottom side, and then I'm gonna lift it up closer to the light. And so I probably want that light maybe about an inch or 2 inches above the plant, to keep it from growing very tall. But everything had pretty good germination. I've got several things still coming up here just recently. Those are eggplants, and so I do have some other hot peppers. I assume these will eventually come up, so I'm not going to just dump it. I'm not going to dump the dirt out. I'm going to hold up and wait. And I do have a little bell pepper. I just noticed a little bell pepper coming up right here. So sometimes you have to just be a little bit patient. I haven't dug around in the dirt, so I don't see any, but eventually the peppers will come up. And so everything except for the watermelons, which those could have been old seeds. I bought them last year. Everything except for the watermelons has sprouted, and so it's pretty good. Had pretty good success out of that. And so I got some plants that once they mature enough, I can transplant them to larger tubs, which is what we'll do with the tomatoes and most other things. Oregano and basil and things we'll plant around the yard, and some in the garden. The peas will get started in the garden because they can handle cold weather pretty well. And so I'll give you an update once we start transplanting. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Also, just to give a little update on the tomatoes. So these are not quite as leggy. You can see some of these have little curled up leaves, and that's mainly because the seeds got stuck on the leaf, which is no big deal. So these are not much taller than the bucket. So on a tomato, if it gets leggy, it's not a big deal, because you can fill it up with potting soil up to the bottom of the leaves, and it will start to grow new roots all along that stem. So even if you wait till it's good mature, and once you transplant it, you can just plant it deeper in the pot and overcome that legginess. But these tomatoes, we don't want to transplant them until they get 2 sets of their tomato leaves, or 2 sets of their mature leaves. So some of these have started, like this one here. You can see it started to get 2 more leaves. So once it has, I guess you would say, a total of 6 leaves, then you can transplant it. A minimum, you want these 2 mature leaves to fully develop and start seeing the other leaves come in. Because currently, right now, this little plant, I will sacrifice one so we can see. See, this little plant doesn't have very much root system to it, and so if you tried to transplant it right now, it probably wouldn't do very well. If you wait till they get mature leaves on them and then transplant them, they do very well, and they're very easy to transplant. And so a bucket like this, we will just kind of basically take it and crush it up with a little fork, maybe wedge out two or three at a time, and transplant 2 or 3 into a larger pot. I want to give you an update on the tomatoes. They're doing well. All of them are have come out. I've got all the peppers in there. They're doing well. I had pretty good success out of those. The only thing that has not come up is my potatoes, and I'm not 100% sure what's wrong with those. Hopefully they'll sprout. We've got some different sweet potatoes. We may try these to see if it makes a difference. Potato itself may have just been cooked or treated, to be food safe, so it's not growing like it should. So I don't know, but hopefully this inspired somebody to step out of the box, maybe start their own seeds next year. It's super easy. You can see it. Maybe have a $1 pack of some tomato seeds. I've got I don't know how many in here. I haven't counted. Easily you could do 6 baskets, or if you wanted to double up, which I usually do, man, you could. And I've got, I think I've got 6 of these little tubs. So I've got a ton of tomatoes for like $3, and I've planted them early enough that I can transplant them once more, and then after that I'll transplant them into the garden. So it's not very difficult. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space and room. So